Hi guys, welcome to Learn Electronics Repair and welcome to some more car booty. So it's getting busy at the car boot flea market at the moment. It's almost spring, a couple more weeks anyway. Start of February, first weekend of February is officially spring here, so not long to go, eh? So this time of year the market's really busy. I'm managing to find a few more retro computers. It was a little bit slow during the summer when the market's much quieter, but anyway, there we go. So we have this one. This is quite a tall looking ATX tower, actually, a few extra bays in this than you would normally have. The main things I can tell you about this machine: it has two USBs. I mean, typically we found a lot of Pentium 2s and Pentium 3s like this. It has an onboard sounder as well, so it could be an AMD machine. I'm not sure about the Pentium 4s. I mean, I've seen enough of them, but not sure. This is really corroded down here. They're very rusty, but they're blanking plates. There's a sound card, graphics card. This looks like a serial card. That makes me think this is something like a Pentium 2 or Pentium 3, but we'll see. Graphics card here obviously as well. The other thing I can tell you about this machine, there's something rattling around inside here. You can hopefully hear that, something rattling around in here. So what condition it's in, I really don't know. Oh, it tells us here what this is. It's a bit upside down now, but it says K7 1040 gig hard drive, I guess, 256 VC32A. Yeah, that's what it says on it, so maybe that gives us some indication of what we've actually got here. Yeah, I think this is an Athlon machine. K7 sounds about right. Whatever's rattling around in here sounds heavy. Okay, let's switch cameras and let's both look together. Right, what we got? Well, we've got a big dent in it. You probably can't see it from that angle, but if I tilt it up, yeah, now you can see it. Let's almost try to get it open with this with a crowbar. AMD machine. So what's rattling? Well, there's a speaker. Yeah, and the heatsink, that's what's rattling around. I told you it was something fairly heavy in here. Okay. So we know basically what we've got here. Let's get this motherboard out and let's have a closer look at it. The motherboard is a QDI there. This is the Kinetis 7T. I'm fairly confident we've had this one before, extremely similar ones. These were quite a decent brand of motherboard back in the day. One strip of RAM, 256, this is the processor. I think he said it was a 1000, we can have a look. Athlon. Yeah, 1000, A1000, okay, so that's the processor. All the capacitors look good on this one. Sound card, yeah, CT4810, we've had loads of these now, they must have been a really popular sound card back in the day. Line card, wow, bin, to be honest. Graphics card, so yeah, M6432M, whatever that is exactly. That's what it said on the back of the machine. I think that's a fairly generic card, to be honest. Yeah, CM64A. Can't say I've had exactly that one, but it seems a fairly generic thing. This was the port that was fitted into the back of the machine in the ATX case. That comes from here. This is UART2, so this is a second serial port. Keep that with the motherboard. Another very nice thing about this, it has an ISA slot. So AMD Athlon boards with ISA slots are not common. I don't see very many of them. And this adds considerably to the price of these boards on the retro scene. You may find a board like this without the ISA slot as maybe 30, 40 euros, if that, and one with the ISA slot can easily be double that, yeah, so that makes a big difference. we're ready to go. I have the power on. I've taken the RAM out for now, the analyzer cards there. I have a speaker on here, so hopefully we'll get some life and a bleep or three. Yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect that to do if there's no RAM. These slots feel a bit like gooey. Yeah, so I'm going to clean these first actually before I try it. Okay, let's give it a try. So we'll put the RAM back in the slot it was originally in. Feels more positive now. What does it do? Power on. Yeah, and now it's saying graphics card. I'll just check the other slots while I'm here. Okay. Should always check them all. This is a common problem with old motherboards. Yeah, it's fine. One more. Yep. I was about to say 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but 3 out of 3 is better. Yeah. Let's see if this thing works. Okay, let's have a go. So power on, start. It stopped on the code to the graphics card. Oh, but I've got a picture. Okay, yeah, QDI, nice QDI medal came up there, so yeah, no keyboard and whatever. Didn't come with a hard drive, this one. I would have to probably install one with XP or something similar. Windows 98 probably actually would be nice on this with the ISA slot, and then yeah, this should be a nice retro machine. Let's see what difference that ISA slot makes to the value of this. Okay, let's have a look. So, are there any for sale? Yeah, there's a couple here. Now, you can see the price people are asking for these. That doesn't necessarily mean they're getting that price. I suspect that would sell at that price, to be quite honest. I had to buy it now. And this shows really it is the ISA slot that makes a difference. We can have a quick look in the sold listings to see if any of these have actually sold. No, not as I can see. That doesn't mean that they won't sell, by the way. So let's search for Athlon XP motherboard. These are in sold listings. So you can see one here, £10.50. Another one, £28.99. There is postage on these. That one's an Athlon X2. That's another XP. That's boxed, £35. So you can see the price they are selling for. And then we find ones that have ISA slots on them. So if you just add ISA to this, ISA, and we see what we find. Yeah, look, 113. Yep, sold. Okay, so that tells you, that was 14th of January. That was yesterday, okay? So that tells you the difference in value, okay? And that's probably a true reflection of what this one's worth. Admittedly, this is a bit, that is a kind of a premium sought after brand for retro, but even so, this is worth a reasonable amount of money. And I hope you agree with that. Otherwise, get into the comments below and tell me why I am wrong. The sound card, CT4810, we've had quite a few of these. We know they're worth about £15, 10, 15, 20, definitely in that price range. And the graphics card, well, CM64A. I think this is just a generic thing of no particular value, but let's have a look. Yeah, it's a Riva TNT2 and basically not worth anything. You can see them here, there's a few of them. Okay, so all the same, I think this is quite a nice motherboard. Happy to happy to sell this one actually. If anybody's interested in one, let me know. You can see it's in good condition. I'll happily load an operating system before I sell it if you want to see that working. But yeah, one for sale there. I am definitely more of an Intel man. Here's another one. So front opens like so. This actually has some badges at the bottom down here. I'm not sure if you can see them. This is a Intel Inside Pentium 4 and this is a Windows XP. So that should tell us what we have here really. Again, we have two USBs. You have a sound card on board. There's a graphics card in this one. Nothing else. I've seen quite a few computers of this brand or PC builder, and I'm sure you guys have if you've seen the channel before. So yeah, let's have a see what's inside this one. But from what it's saying, Pentium 4, I'm guessing a 478, but we will see. This also appears to have been attacked with a crowbar or something. Okay, there's only one screw in it, so I can't imagine that's so difficult to remove, really. But still, that's what's happened. Okay, let's switch cameras and let's see what we've got in this one. Okay. Pentium 4, socket 478 then. Cooler master fan on it. Some sort of AGP graphics card with a cooling fan on it. Oh, a hard drive. Yeah, just caught on something rattling around loose. I have no idea if that would actually work or not. 80 gigabyte. Disco. A rank loaded. I think that means it's got an operating system on it. Arranque, it's like a Spanish word. I think it means like loaded or something like that, or installed. So other than that, it looks fairly clean. Hopefully nothing got broken with that thing rattling around inside it. Let's have a look to see what we have here. I'll get the motherboard and graphics card out and we can take a closer look. Yeah. Okay, so this, yeah, socket 478 Pentium 4, as I mentioned, cooler master fan. This is an MSI motherboard, MSI DDR. This will be DDR 400, I would think. Yep, DDR 400. That's a 1 gig strip. This has IDE, floppy. Quite often these motherboards with the socket 478 processor will have SATA as well. This one appears not to have. Okay. The hard drive, yeah, Seagate 80 gigabyte. This Disco Arranque. Apologise for my not brilliant Spanish. It doesn't mean load. That would be cargar. Or carga. Arranque sort of means, I think, more like boot. I think this says it's the boot drive. Okay. My Spanish is kind of, yeah. I don't know how yours is, but that's mine. Okay. FX 5500 AGP, fairly common AGP graphics card, not one of the particularly valuable ones. Has DVI and VGA on it. Okay, and probably some sort of TV out as well by the looks of it. So that's what we have. All looks to be in quite good condition. Capacitors all looking good. There's none hidden down the side, are there? No, I think that's all of them. So it all looks pretty good. We can check the 12 volts on the ATX 4-pin connector here. This will tell us if we have any shorts in the MOSFETs and the VRM. Ohms range. Well, one side of this connector will be ground anyway. Yeah, well, that's climbing up, yeah, in the ohms range, so that's fine. Got hundreds of ohms there. So I don't see any problem with powering this one up. I'll do the same as the last one. So I'll take the RAM out, we'll get the analyzer card and we'll just see whether this wants to bleep, whether it wants to boot, and see what the analyzer card tells us. Well, we can see it. There's a little speaker on board on this. I couldn't immediately spot the speaker connection on here, but that should tell us what we want to know. Switch it on. What happens? That's a RAM problem. No bleeping, but COCO, C1, is generally RAM. Put the strip in. Let's go again. Same. Try for the different slot. Okay. Same again. Shame I can't just figure out where the speaker goes on this. Although you would think the onboard speaker would give us some indication. I've got a feeling if we take this little jumper off here, and we connect the speaker across the 4, I think that might be it. Let's see. Power on. Well, still no sound and still the same code. Let's go for the easy thing. Let's assume this is RAM and let's try cleaning these slots. Let's see if that helped. No. Okay, try another strip of RAM. I've tried a few more strips of RAM and all the slots. That doesn't seem to help at all. We can just check CMOS battery. We can also reset CPU as well, but let's just see what we got here. Nothing basically. I don't honestly believe this would stop it from booting like that, but there's no problem if you do change it. Yeah, you're not going to cause any harm. Okay. Yeah, it didn't make any difference. Didn't really think it would, but why not do it? Right, so let's have a look at this CPU. So this comes off easily enough. The problem is getting this off. Quite often the CPU sticks to it. This one actually is okay. Just try to reset it. Blow any dust out. Somebody asked me if I got a compressed air cleaner. Yeah, I have. I'll just use it now. Okay. I've had that all my life and it works fine. Yeah, that works just fine. So what's back on here? Go again. No difference. Okay. I'll see if I've got another CPU that will fit on this motherboard. If that doesn't get us anywhere, I'll measure a few voltages and see if that helps us. Yeah. Okay, so here's the CPU. Pentium 4, 2.533 gigahertz. I'm pretty sure I've got more of the same, so let me see if I can just find one of the same type and we'll give that a go. Yeah, this is exactly the same type, so we'll try that one. Ah, there you go then. CPU problem. I won't bother, keep the old one. I mean, it looks clean enough. I did try reseating it, made no difference. And I've got several of these, so it's not like it's worth anything. So we're booting now, and we actually got a click from the speaker that time, and a bleep. Okay, different code to what we normally see. If we're talking about graphics card not working, but we're getting that far. Let's try the graphics card that came with this. Right then. doesn't like something. This E decoder is not one I'm familiar with at all. So the most obvious thing to try then is known good graphics card. Okay. Power on. No. Let's just try give this AGP sort of clean. In fact, I'll just try seat this in and out several times. This often actually helps. But I'm not convinced that code is actually a problem with the graphics card. Without it again. Was it 2D? No, it is stopping in the same place with or without the graphics card. Okay. Let's have a look at this slot. Oh, something nasty in there. Can you see it down there? I'll try and clean this out with some isopropyl and see if it helps. Okay, I've done a bit of messing around with this. I've tried the RAM again in a few different slots. I've tried reseating the graphics card several times. I know at least one of them is good. So I then decided to put a PCI graphics card in. Again, it's a known good one. And what we get is the same error. Stops at this point. It also occurred to me, just possibly, but the analyzer is screwing this up, I think. We've seen that at least once or twice. But if we take it out, obviously we have no codes, but we'll get the same bleeps. There, so you're getting the same code. Now, this code of ED, as I say, is not typical for a graphics card. That would normally be 2D, something like that. But yeah, you can see here, so around 2C is looking for the video ROM is done and performing any required processing after the video ROM is control, completed post video ROM. So this is where we get video ROM errors, and these are the codes we know. We get 2C, 2D, 2E. If we go to this one, E6, E7, now it says it's enabling the floppy drive controller and timer IRQs, enabling internal cache memory. This is for AMI BIOS, and it's an AMI BIOS as I have. And on the Phoenix BIOS, it's saying check some BIOS ROM. It's doing the checks when going to BIOS. So there's no floppy drive attached to this, but we're not even getting to as far as the BIOS screen. I don't think that's what's effectively causing an error here. Maybe a BIOS problem. I know it says that's Phoenix, but who knows with this sort of thing. So I think the next thing I would actually try is BIOS. The fact it doesn't want to work and it gives the same error with the PCI graphics card in with the AGP, and to be quite honest, without a graphics card it still stops at the same code. There. So the next thing that would be feasible is to look at the BIOS. That's here. Don't see why we couldn't unsolder that. I'm sure I have the right adapters for my programmer. The question is, can we find the BIOS of this? So we see there MS6 IFPFZHDO version 1, that's the board, 645E Max 2. Let's see if we can even find a BIOS for this. I had a quick look on Google and I very easily found a BIOS for this on MSI's site. There only appears to be a 1.0 and 1.2 BIOS, but I'm not sure that the BIOS version is the same thing as the motherboard version, so I've gone with the one I can get, which was 1.2. It was on the same link effectively, so for the same motherboard I had version 1 and version 1.2. I've just tried another processor out of interest. This is a 2.66 gigahertz. I had a quick look online again, and that is supported by this motherboard. It's doing the same thing. So I think the next thing is to unsolder this, and let's see whether it actually is a BIOS problem. This should easily desolder, hopefully, or relatively easily desolder, all things being relative. Yeah, some solder. Okay. Right. I'll just try and peel the label off. Okay. Something else underneath it. Well, took the writing off as well, so we don't know what it was. I've put some tin foil over the PCI slots. That's the thing I'm most worried about melting. I'm not too concerned about these components. They're not too close to this. Okay. I'll try and lift it off. Well, I'm trying to think the best direction to come from here. Yeah, probably this direction. Yes, I can pick it up like this fairly easily. Let's see if we can unsolder this. Okay, we have a bit of solder blobbed on there, so best time to get rid of that is while it's warm. Yeah. Okay. PCI slots, yeah, looking pretty good. Same with this chip. I think we've got a little bit of solder just shorting some of the pins together, so let's try and clean that. Well, almost clean. So that came off pretty well. We'll soon find out when we try to read it. To do that, of course, we need to know what type of chip this actually is. It's not too hot to touch now. Just need to get this off. What do we have? Well, we can see there W49F002 and some letters. Let's see if we can read this. Oh, and one bit of solder left. Okay. Possibly a bit there as well. Okay, I have an adapter for this. I pushed it in a little bit further than I wanted to by accident, but I'm sure it's making good contact. So let's see what the programmer thinks. W49 F002, what letters came after it? U. Okay, I think it's that one. Yeah, it has 32 pins, so sure of it. That one. Read. Go. And it's identified it's 0xDA0B, so it's the right chip. It's read the contents. Obviously we will have some contents because it was executing BIOS code. Yeah, we got stuff in there. So we'll save this and then we'll upload the version we downloaded. And this one, we can see it's there. So this is a .120 file, doesn't really matter what the extension is. We can see it's a round number. It's 256 kilobytes, so ROM files are always a round number, binary wise, okay? So we'll open that. Okay. I think it actually changed the contents, can't say for certain, but we'll just program it. So P for program, program. And this will write the EEPROM and then verify the contents. Error. Oh. So it looks like this may have a faulty chip. Actually, let's just try it again. Program. It looks like it's failing on verify. Erase. Yeah. So it doesn't seem able to program this chip. I'll just restart it just to be sure. Unplug the USB. Reconnect it. Mini Pro. It's still set to the correct chip. We will open the file. That one. Open. Okay. It's also the same size as the original file that I read from it. Program. Go. Yeah, so it identifies it correctly, but it has a problem with it. Saying buffer data 0x8A, verify 0xFF. So it looks like we actually have a faulty chip in this case. Can I still read it just out of interest? Yeah, I can read it. Erasing. Yep, programming stopped. I thought I might have another one of these off a scrap board, this one, but this is actually a different chip altogether. Whether it's the same capacity, well, I guess I could look up the data sheet. But I think in this case, I'll probably see if I can actually get one of these and try to put the new BIOS in. I'm fairly confident that's what the problem is with this board. And I'm interested more than anything else. So let's see if I can actually get these things. Well, there's one there, but unless it's the wrong photo, that's completely the wrong style of chip. It's a PLCC is the package. PLCC. Let's have a look. No, I must say it seems that these are just not available anymore. Thought there might be some old stock kicking around, but it doesn't look like it. No, I think we've drawn a blank here, guys. This is the same part number, but mine is UP12B. I'm guessing the P is the PLC bit. So it looks like there aren't any of these around. The only possibility, maybe I find it on some scrap board somewhere so I can keep hold of this. But right now, I think this one is something that we can't fix. Never mind though, I think I have some satisfaction in figuring out what was wrong with this. I'm confident enough because we can't write and verify that EEPROM that in actual fact there is a problem with the BIOS, plus that code did suggest it could be, although it was mentioning a different type rather than the AMD BIOS. But what the heck, all those factors come together to suggest this is a faulty BIOS. I just don't have the right chips available. Okay, well, I'll keep my eyes open, see what I can find, and I hope you enjoyed it anyway. And I'll also keep my eyes open to see if I can find some more car booty next week. Okay, you never know your luck. Ciao for now, guys.